I'm Robert Anderson and I'm an athlete. I've been in Special Olympics now for 51 years. I was in special ed all through school, and I started Special Olympics when I was in first grade. As far as my dad was concerned, I didn't need to be in any sports or anything. My mom was one that thought that sports would be good for me because I was all closed off and stayed to myself.
One of my favorite memories of Robert is his perseverance. He went through a really tough childhood, and he came out on the other end just tough, mentally tough, caring. Where a lot of times that that kind of a little bit of child abuse involved, that can carry on and turn you become that. And he went the other way. He cares about people. His story is pretty incredible of just being alive today.
I've been in Special Olympics over in Montana and Idaho and here in Colorado. I play basketball, track and field, and bowling. One of my favorite memories from Montana is I got the record right now for bowling, which I have a 255. A perfect game is a 300, so I'm only 45 pins away from that perfect game. School is real hard for me. There was a lot of bullying and they just treated you like trash because you were in special ed. Special Olympics is a place where I can actually feel like I fit in instead of being an outcast. I used to be real shy, stayed to myself, didn't talk to hardly anybody, and now I'm more open-minded. I talk to other people about Special Olympics, to where before I wouldn't talk to anybody about anything that I'd done at all.
Yeah, I met Robert my very first practice. I was just impressed from the start. He was really friendly. He was real welcoming. I got to know him pretty good the first practice.
Coach Bobby's a real good friend of mine. He treats me like a brother that I never had. I've never had an actual coach help me before as far as any of the sports that I'm in. And when I first met him and I was shooting, I was lucky if I even hit the backboard.
When I first got into the program, his shot was a little funky. So that's one of the first things I did when we had a little downtime and we had breaks in practice. I would work with Robert on his shot. By that third year, to hit a step back three was a big deal. And he nailed it. From then, he's been hitting the three ball since. It was a joy to watch.
About 5 years ago, I started having a lot of problems with breathing and my oxygen. And I'm gonna say it was about 3 years ago that I started thinking about becoming a coach, or would like to be one. And I started talking to Coach Bobby about it, and it just went from there on.
He slowed down, but he didn't. He slowed down in basketball, but he kept up on the other sports. He loves to bowl, so he was still bowling, he was still doing track and field, But basketball, being the contact sport, it's pretty unpredictable of what can happen. During that is kind of like a maturation of, okay, what's going to happen to Robert when he's done playing everything? That's kind of when the seed was planted of him becoming a coach.
As years have gone by and me and Bobby being by each other when we're playing basketball and stuff, he's noticed that I help everybody, and I have been.
He is constantly looking out for everybody, and that's one of the reasons that I think he'd be a great coach. I know he's going to be a great coach, actually. It's just a special quality to want to help your fellow athletes and to want to help the program. In the Special Olympics, you've got to be ready for anything, and to having that support of an athlete coach like Robert, again, is invaluable.
My plans right now are just on basketball pretty much. The track and field, I'm not sure how that's gonna go for sure. But I think I might end up sliding in as coach for track and field too. I know bowling, I'm gonna stick as athlete for bowling. One of these years I'd like to be one of the main coaches overall. But until then, just coaching the B team is gonna be a real good experience.
My hope and dreams for Robert in the coaching role he's about to undertake is kind of selfishly, I want him to win a gold medal at the state tournament in Denver for his squad. That would be awesome. And just to grow and help the athletes like I know he will. Here in Montrose, we have a coaching philosophy of consistency and respect, and I have no doubt that Robert will continue that tradition as he becomes coach. And being able to compete and actually wanting to become a coach and help others. It's amazing that he is where he is after you hear his life story.
I'm just glad that he actually believed in me, because I didn't have any other coaches that actually believed that I could do anything.
How I feel about Robert becoming a coach is nothing but positive things. Just an all-around great guy.